press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hello students, welcome back to your social science class. We have finished chapter today in the previous class, and today we are going to begin a new chapter, that is India Population, Unit 12 of your second part of your textbook. Okay. Now, what are the things that you're going to study in this lesson? First is what is meant by population. Okay. And then how much of population do we have? That's the size of the population. How there is increase in the population, that's growth of population in India. Why is there so much of growth? What are the causes for so much of growth of population? We are a populated country, isn't it? Why is there so much of population in the country? And then distribution and density of population along with factors affecting the distribution of population. Now, some areas have very less people, some areas have very, like if you take villages and the cities have more number of people than the villages. Why is there no equal distribution like that? All those factors we will study in this lesson, India Population. Now, what I want you to understand is what is the meaning of population first, and then we will go forward as to what is to be studied. Okay, it is the number of people living in a particular area. So, number of people living in a particular area is termed to be called as population. Now, we are the second largest populous country after China. China is on the top, and we are the second highest next to. Now, according to 2011 census, our population was of 121.1 crores. Okay, 121.1 crores according to 2011 census. So that is 17.5% of the world's population. We take 17.5% of the world's population. Okay, that is 17.5 and 2.4 of the land covered by the world. Now, why are we having a lot of growth of population now? Earlier there were less people because the death rate was high. Why the death rate was high? Because there were a lot of diseases, okay, pandemics like these, epidemics like these, okay, and that is why there was no medical facilities, okay, that is poor healthcare system, and that is why people used to die away easily. That was somewhere around the 1901 to 1921. Population was balanced because the death rate was also high because of the diseases that were happening. People were getting affected, people were fighting wars at that time, people were going into different sectors, okay, and there was no medical care, proper medical care. Then from 1921 to 1951, the population was growing on an average, okay, a moderate average, not moderate growth, not very high population as of now. Why moderate? Because systems were improving, especially the healthcare system was improving, and the diseases also came down. These kind of epidemics and pandemics also came down, okay, and we had better health facilities, sanitation facilities, people were taken care of, certain policies were implemented, okay, so we were on a better note than before 1921. As it came to 1951 to 1991 and until today, if you can see, we have improved. We have used a lot of science and technology in the medical facilities, medical areas. The hospitals are so well equipped. Okay, certain hospitals are so well equipped, their facilities are really good, and we are aware of certain things that are happening to us and what is happening around us. So we know how to take things seriously and not take things seriously. Though lifespan that time was much better than what we have now, our lifespan has reduced now. Very rarely you find people crossing up to 9500. Okay, there are people. I don't say there are no people like that. There are people, but most of the time, by 50 or 60, at the most, 65. Okay, that's the lifespan, let's say. But there are people who have lived till 80, 90, 100 also. Okay, and we must always cherish them if they are there. Now, there is a contradictory message here. Though we have better health facilities, why is our lifespan going down? For that, there are again another root causes. Our lifestyle has also changed. Our way of work has changed. Our eating habits have changed. So you can connect too many causes and too many reasons for certain one aspect that is there. Okay, why lifespan has decreased? Why are we still dying of illnesses when our healthcare facilities are better? Okay, so there are other root causes for it. You must have to connect everything in order to understand one problem. If you understand one problem with one aspect, it's very difficult for you to make a conclusion. But if you connect one aspect with too many factors that have happened before, then you make a right conclusion. Okay, so that's how. The growth rate of population from 1951 to 1991 was okay. It had increased itself. Okay, the death rate started to fall down while the birth rate went up. Okay, when the birth rate went up, the death rate started to fall down, and there was another pattern of this again declining around the 1980s. Okay, a vice versa of what has happened. So all this was happening, and we reached to this much in 2011. So now it has increased. If we are much ahead from 2011. Okay, much ahead of 2011. So why do you think there was a growth of population here at that time? Because first one is high birth rate. Okay, first reason for the growth of population. Okay, high birth rate and low death rate. So this is one of the major causes of growth of population. Now, why do you think high birth rate that time? Because early marriages. Okay, early marriages. You can take early marriages. Sometimes are religious and social attitudes. That is, we have a conception in the society just after marriage. They keep on haunting you for children. Okay. So sometimes early marriages can lead to having more number of children. Then religious and social attitudes are attitudes towards building a family or having a family. Planning a family is also affected through whatever we have. Our religious beliefs also tend us to have children. Okay, polygamy, too many marriages. Monogamy is one marriage to only one person. Polygamy is too many people. Poverty can also be one of the reasons. Okay, and climate, because of the fertility, because of the increase in the fertility and other things. So these are few of the reasons for high birth rate. Early marriages, our religious and social beliefs and attitudes that are there, the tropical climate that is there. Okay, polygamy and poverty can also be one of the factors of high birth rate. Okay, low death rate. Though our population is growing in leaps and bounds. Okay, it's a phrase, leaps and bounds. Leaps and bounds is a phrase. That is rapidly. Okay, leaps and bounds. Now, Basic reasons we discussed: because of the improved medical facilities that are there. Then we have controlled all diseases that are coming and affecting people very highly. Now even this virus that has come to us, people may have died, okay, people may have been victims to it, but most of the population is still surviving. So we have a facility that where we can control it, okay. Though vaccines and all will come a little later, because we have to get used to it. We should know it first before we treat it, isn't it? People on one hand have died because they were prone to it, but the other population who was there, they could fight it. So most of the population is not gone, most of the population is still alive, okay. So that is how, because we are having better medical facilities, we can still treat it. Then our awareness and education is also going ahead, and that's what I told you. We are aware of the things that are happening to us. We are aware of what we should be doing and what we shouldn't be doing. So that's how it's making us not fall into any trap of death at any time. But it's said, isn't it? When you have to go, you will have to go. But certain things can be avoided. Now, for example, when if you don't know how to cross the road, you may be hit by a vehicle. But if you are aware of how to cross the road, you can save yourself from the speeding car or whichever vehicle it is. All right? Okay. Now, because of the growth of population also we are having a lot of problems also because of the growth of population. One of the problems of growth of population is unemployment. Too many people and lack of jobs. Now, the youth of the country, we are a very young country, okay, our young population is more. So young population is suffering now at this time because of the lack of jobs, unemployment, and you're not getting jobs for the right education that you have done. If you have studied commerce, you go and work somewhere in a science field or an arts field. If you're an art student, you work for the commerce field. So you are not getting a job according to your talent and according to the studies that you have done, because the situation is such. Unemployment is going on, and youth of the country are bound to take up any job for their survival, and that's a very bad sign that it's happening, because we must try to empower, because this young population that's there in the country now is going on to take the future. The who have gone in the past doesn't matter, who are still ahead of us, when we reach their age, they wouldn't be there. Okay, so this young population is going to continue, and when this young population is going to continue, if we don't empower this young population, then problem of unemployment, and one of the problems because too many people in and around. Now you just see, if you apply anywhere, now if there are government jobs that are coming, or any application, any exam application that you have to fill, lakhs and lakhs of students apply. So with that, can you figure out how many students are writing it? So what is the level of competition that is there? The level of competition is so high that you have to stand out as the best. If you don't stand out as the best, you will be gone forever. Okay, that is, you will not get that opportunity at all. So to stand out as the best, you have to be aware of things that are happening. How do they make their cutoffs, or how do they lay down their regulations? If you're not aware and simply go and write some exam and come, it's not of no use. That is why they say, isn't it? Now if you have to write any exam, competitive, they say, look back to the previous year question papers, practice, study, because you have to be the best and be better always each time you go. Competition is high because of the lack of jobs. Everybody, any Tom, Dick and Harry who doesn't have a job will apply for any job that comes their way, because that's the problem, okay? Shortage of food and malnutrition. Okay, shortage of food and malnutrition. We are dependent on agriculture, and though we don't support our farmers, so if we don't support our farmers, then understand the connection there. Okay, we have to take farmers as an asset of the country, which we are not doing so. When we don't take farmers as the asset of the country, what are we eating? We are eating what they are growing in their fields. Otherwise, from where do you think are you eating? Where do you are going to the bazaar and getting it? Yes, but it is somebody else's hard work that you are eating. If that person has not put in their hard work and none of the farmers are working, the country will only go into die of hunger, Because what are you supposed to do? Everybody is important in the society, okay? Anybody, one or the other way, they are helping you. With regard to the agricultural sector, we must give a lot of importance to agricultural sector, because that is the biggest asset that we can have for the country, biggest asset that we can have. Then shortage of food in this way, maybe sometimes certain situations hit you, and then maybe you're not able to transport things and other things. Population is also increasing, consumption is more, okay? When you have more of consumption, you should have also the production that is to be high. If the production is low and the consumption is high, then there is shortage. So consumption and production should always be in balance. If production is high, consumption is less, then again there is a loss. So balance of production and consumption is always needed, okay? Then we don't have proper facilities that are there sometimes, though here and there maybe our civic facilities, our social facilities that are there, that are not there. Then we have a very low income sometimes, okay, per capita income is very low. Then slow economic development, that's what I mentioned to you one of the classes. We are developing, that ING will take us a lot of years now. We are still developing. Our economic development and the way we deal with people of our country and our relations with the other countries is good enough, but how far are we making our country better is still the question, okay? A poverty and low standard of living, okay, that is because of lot of population. Poverty can also strike because people don't see, if you take like this, maybe unemployment can lead to poverty because they don't have a job and cannot make a living out of their meager income that they have. Otherwise they are not, they cannot afford a good living because they cannot afford education or anything else. So each thing is connected to the other, and that is how we'll have to deal with things certainly. Low standard of living because we have to adjust, we have to survive somehow, isn't it? We cannot be staying and starving all day. We have to survive somehow, so we have to keep our standards very low. Environmental pollution, yeah, because of a lot of population, you can take in terms of air pollution and noise pollution. Too many vehicles on the road, too many people gather. If you go to very jam-packed cities, you don't have place to move, okay? People are simply walking here and there, and then, but if you go to a village, you're very free. You can walk on your own. One person is walking on one corner, you're on another corner. But in the cities, so close to each other, especially if you go in the trains and the local trains that are there, or in the buses that are there, always full. In the peak hours, especially in the mornings and in the evenings when people go to work and come back to work, jam-packed buses and trains that are there. So many people, okay, so many people are living. That's how. Then how can we control it, okay? Control is, we will have to have proper family planning. That is, we must set as to how many number of children we are going to have. So we have to have proper family planning that is there, and at the right age and at the right time. Not so that's how we can balance the age factor of the population. See, it should not always be like this, that only young people are too much and the elder ones are very less. No, there should always be a balance in the population. When will there be balance in the population? When you do a proper family planning. Marriage at the right age, okay, children at the right age will balance everything. Sometimes late marriages can happen. Early marriages also will lead into, because the fertility rate is high, okay. Early marriages also can lead into or contribute into growth of population. But proper family planning and maybe awareness can be created about it. Then women welfare projects, okay. Women can be taught certain things, the welfare and development of women can be done so that they get back to work and they live their life than sit at home and just look after their children. Okay, publicity and advertisements, that's awareness that we can create about how we have to control our population. We need to control the population of India, otherwise we are going to struggle in the future that's going to come, because too many people, then each one will suffer. We will have to pay high taxes, we will have to have the cost of our living will also be high, because so many things in the market are very costly. From where do we get that money? Everything, even income that is generated in the country has to be going within the citizens of the country, isn't it? That's how the circle runs. Otherwise, from where the government gets money? So citizens are very important. So if you don't cater to the needs of the citizens, then what is the need of functioning as a unit? Okay, all right. Now population distribution that is there, population of India is very uneven, that's what I told you. If you compare, just take a simple example of the cities and the urban area, rural areas. Rural areas, very less people. Sometimes in the rural areas you find one house is here, another house is another kilometer away. But in the cities, just beside your house there's another house. Okay, or apartments, so many people staying in an apartment. So if you just build 10 apartments, so many people, just assume there are 4 floors and maybe 4 or 5 floors, sometimes 10-storied buildings are also there. Okay, maybe we'll take 10-storied building, each story has 3 houses. Okay, so just count the population that is going to stay, maybe 4 members in one house, okay, parents and 2 children, just take it like that, or 6 of them, grandparents and children and parents. So just count the number of people are going to stay in one building, and then the next 4 or 5 buildings like that. Just multiply and see how many people are there. So if we are going to do so much, but in the villages, one house, 4 members, another house, 6 members, another house, 2 members. So you can see very less people, but in the cities it's not like that. Very near, very compact places that they stay in, and too many people that are there. So that's how our population is very uneven. Uttar Pradesh has a lot of population, that is 19.95 crores. Then Sikkim has the lowest population, 6.1 lakh. And in the Union Territories, Delhi has the highest population, 1.67 crores. And Lakshadweep has the lowest population, 64,429. Okay. So our population is high in the coastal plain, the urban areas, the areas where there are industries, okay, the Gangetic plain, all these areas a lot of population. But our islands, our desert areas, okay, regions which are very elevated, less population. All right. So density of population, what is density of population? Okay. Number of people per square kilometer is called density of population. Now all these definitions please keep in mind. Number of people per square kilometer. That is number of people in this area, number of people in another area. Number of people per square kilometer is called density of population. Okay, keep the definition in mind. Now, according to the census of 2011, we have an average density of 382 per square kilometer. 382 per square kilometer. Okay. Now Bihar has the highest density of having 1102 people per square kilometer. Okay, that is Bihar. And then Arunachal Pradesh has a lowest, where there are 17 people per square kilometer. Then in the Union Territories, Delhi has a lot of people, that's 11,297, and Andaman and Nicobar has 463 people per square kilometer. Now if you, I have taught you how to make the tables, okay, make the tables and divide this and write, okay, density of population, so you can remember the numbers easily. So I have taught you how to do it, you do it. Now we can divide the area into 3 parts according to the density of population, that is areas with high density, area with medium density and areas with low density. Now this we will not deal with it in this class, we will deal it within the next class. I would like to stop this here, read how much we have done. For this also you can make tables, okay. So now that you know, I have taught you in India soils, India land resources, India forests. This is a continuation of that. So you know how to do it, you are very bright children, isn't it? You know how to do it. So do the tables and keep it ready for your exams. In the next class, we will deal with the 3 factors, that is depending on density, and factors affecting the distribution of population, how factors are affecting it. So next class, next part we can wind up this lesson, India population, alright. Thank you students for listening.